Hey, what's up you little vaping maniacs on YouTube? Today I am going to do a review for a product that I have waited for far too long, the Dripbox by Kanger. So this is a new product line for Kanger. It's actually, well, the technical term for it is a Squonker or Squonk mod. And I've never expected Kanger to release something like this because they seem to release products more towards the beginner stage of vaping, and squonking is definitely not for beginners. But this little mod by Kanger is affordable, and I think it's going to change the way a lot of people vape from now on. So let's get to the close-ups and let's take a look at this sucker. Alright, so let's take a look at the Dripbox starter kit by Kanger. So the one that I have here is the one that is red, but it also comes in black and white. So the packaging itself looks good for the price. As for a lot of Kanger products, the damage that you see here is from shipping. So the side of the box, you have Dripbox starter kit. And at the back, you have some instructions on what the kit contains, as well as some caution or some warning, and your authenticity code over here. So let's pop the box open. And here you have your Dripbox. So the Dripbox starter kit consists of two things here. The first is the Drip mod, which is actually the mod here, and the sub drip RDA. So what this is really, it's a Squonker or a Squonk starter kit. Okay, so you have your e-liquid here, and you squeeze your e-liquid, it goes all the way up to the RDA or rebuildable dripping atomizer. Now let's take a look at what else is there in the actual kit itself. So you have your instruction booklet over here for the Dripbox, and it has all the important information that you want to know. So the height of this is 26 millimeters, the height of the sub drip, okay, and that is the RDA. It's 26 millimeters and the diameter is 22 millimeters, and the overall weight is 30 grams. It's made of stainless steel, and it supports coils from 0.2 ohm all the way up to 2.5 ohm. Now, as for the drip mod, the height of it is 90 millimeters and the diameter is 22 millimeters. The weight is 90 gram. It's made of aluminum, and it has a juice capacity of 7 milliliters, and that's quite a lot. So it requires a single 18650 battery cell, which does not come included in the kit. The voltage output of the battery, as you can see, it's a very simple mod over here. No screen, nothing, just one power button. So it outputs a constant voltage of 3.7 volts. And the power output, the maximum power output that this little kit here can output is 60 watts of power. So the instruction booklet itself, I think, is pretty good. Everything is very well documented here. You have some illustrations, but we are not going to read through the instructions because if I do, then you don't need me anymore. So here you have your signature battery stickers by Kanger. I'm going to show you how to apply this to your battery in a while. And you have also here scratch code, so you can scratch it and check for the authenticity. And you have a very nice color matched red USB cable. So I'm assuming if I got the black kit, and that will have a black USB cable, mine comes with a red cable and it looks pretty good. And what else do we have here? We have some Japanese organic cotton for you to do your rewicking for your RDA, rebuildable atomizer. You have one spare plastic container here. It's hard to believe it. This can contain 7 mils of e-juice, but that's what they say. And you also have your little blue screwdriver, some extra screws for your post deck, and 2 extra coils over here. So in this video, I'm not going to show you how to recoil your Dripbox, but I will do that in a different video. Alright, so let's look at the Dripbox itself and how it works. So basically, you can open the cover here, and this is a magnetic cover. You can see two magnets over here, and you can just pull the bottle out. The plastic bottle comes out, and this is where you fill your e-juice. So as I said, this is basically a Squonk mod, and in the past Squonk mods have been around for a long time. They have been really sort of like a niche within the vaping niche itself, so it's super small market, and most of the devices out there were either custom made or hacked. For example, a lot of the RDAs were hacked, and people actually screwed a hole right through the 510 center pin so that it will work with their Squonk mods. But what Kanger have done, I think they have come out with a really good Squonk starter kit. Okay, and I've been using this for 3 days now, so it works really well. So let me first disassemble the parts here. So the top part is an RDA, and this should come out by itself. You just squeeze it. Now I had some problems getting this out at first. Okay, it just did not come out, and I had to use a plier to it, and then yes, it did come out. So this is the actual mod itself, and this would be your RDA section. So let's go through the mod. Okay, and this is your juice feeding pin over here. I think Kanger has done a really good job to simplify this, because a lot of the other Squonk mods that you would see online on YouTube, for example, you can search for Squonk mods or Squonkers, and a lot of them have a tube, and you have to attach the tube to the top part here, and this is where your juice comes out. But this mechanism here, I think, looks much easier. Okay, just put in your bottle, push it in, and snap in the cover just like that. Much easier. I've not seen anything like this from the research that I've done. So this is a very simple dripper or rebuildable dripping atomizer. If you have not used any rebuildable dripping atomizer before, it's a very simple device. And the coil here, okay, basically I've been using this for 3 days, so this is not how it looks like when it was new, and it's still holding up pretty well. So you have your coils and you have your organic cotton over here, and if you can see, two small holes, and that's where the juice would come out. And you have the top cap that controls the airflow, so you can just twist it to control the airflow on both sides. Now, one thing that I did notice, the paint job on the Dripbox, okay, on the mod and on the RDA itself, it looks pretty cheap. It looks like I could have done the exact same paint job with a couple of spray cans and another layer of lacquer on top. In fact, you can see here that it's not really even very smooth to the touch. It definitely has a cheaper feel of a paint job to it, but I mean, for the price that you get it, it's okay. Now the only question is, will the paint chip off? So I've been using this for 3 days, as I mentioned, and I don't see major signs of paint chipping off, but I know paint jobs like this, it will start to chip off, especially when you have the first chip, and then it will start to chip off much faster. But so far, for 3 days, you can see some wear and tear over here. Okay, and this is a result of putting it in my pocket with my keys and everything. It is what it is. For the price that you get it, I think it's okay. And this is your battery door. So you're going to open this, and it requires a single 18650 battery. That does not come with the kit itself, but you have to buy it separately, just like this. And this is an LG 18650 battery. So I'm going to peel off one of the black stickers that I have here. And the way to do this is to put it right in the middle, just like that. And get your sticker going all the way until the other side, just like this. So this will be your positive and this would be your negative, right? So the positive end goes down here like that. Put in the battery cover and twist it. All right, so the grooves for the battery cover are pretty raw. I mean, it doesn't go in smoothly. You still have to catch the grooves. Okay, and if you're having trouble, you can actually unscrew this part here. Makes it a bit easier to catch the grooves for the battery cover. Okay, I finally have it in. So screw the battery cover tightly. Get it as tight as you can. Okay, and you can see that the battery is still pretty much loose in there. So this is a very basic security feature. Okay, so when it's like this, your battery actually isn't making any connection with the mod itself, and that will help your battery retain its charge. When you're not using it, you can unscrew it like this, but it's basically a very primitive kind of safety feature. So now to make a connection, you have to screw in this part here all the way tight, and then now it is tight and you don't hear any more battery rattle. Okay, and the next step is to fill this up with as much e-juice as you want, but there is a maximum level here if you look at the instruction. Okay, so you go up to about this much, and filling it up is very easy to do, just like that. Okay, and now I have it filled up, not all the way to the top, but just enough. Put the bottle in, push it in gently. You can see some liquid start to come out from the top. Right, so don't fill it up too much. Okay, don't overfill it, because then when you push in the bottle, you will find e-juice just coming out of the top. And now I'm going to put the cover back. It snaps right in, just nice. Now for the drip or sub drip, or I'll just call it the RDA. Now let's put in the RDA. Okay. Alright, so 5 clicks to turn the power on. You see it blinking like that. So it's on. Oh no, it's actually off now. So I'm going to click it 5 times again to turn it on. Blinks. Squeeze the bottle a bit, and you don't have to squeeze it too hard, okay, but you just have to squeeze and maintain the pressure for a while. So let's take a look at what happens when you squeeze it, okay. And when you let go of the bottle, it sucks the excess e-juice right back in. Just like that. And put in the cover of the RDA back in. Now you have to line up the holes here with the coils themselves. Okay, so you have one hole here and one on the other side. You have to line it up with the coils, just like that. Put it in place. And now you can adjust your airflow control. So you can put it all the way open, and you should be able to see right through it to the other side, like that. Or you can leave it half open like this, which is what I prefer. I find it a bit too airy if I leave it all the way open. The first time I held this in my hands, the first thing that I thought was like, man, this is such a tiny device. So let's compare the size here. So this is your this is my K-Box Platinum, K-Box Mini actually, that came with the top box starter kit. So what you can see here is in terms of the width, it's about the same, or maybe the K-Box Mini is just slightly wider. In terms of the height, it's slightly shorter than the K-Box Mini, and in terms of width, of course, it's much wider because it has a battery in it and a little bottle, a 7ml e-juice bottle as well. And you can charge this with your USB cable, the included USB cable, or you can charge the battery with a dedicated charger. I have a dedicated charger, but I think if you charge it with a USB cable, it would probably take maybe about 2 hours to get the battery to be fully charged. Of course, it depends on the actual battery that you're using. Alright, so now let's take a vape. Man, for a tiny device like this, okay, it's definitely powerful. I mean, it's very simple, okay, so there's no screen. So in case you have trouble understanding what happens when you actually press the button, it's pretty much like, you know, a battery like this. a single cell battery like this. Also has just one button, okay, and when you press it, then it has a constant rate of power. It has a constant voltage that comes out of the battery. In the case here, it's about 3.7, but according to the manual for the Dripbox and the battery for the drip mod, okay, it outputs 3.7 volts. But is it constant, or does that depend on the coil that you're using? So let's test it out. Let's measure the resistance of the coil. Okay, so the coil that I have in here, the stock coils that actually came with the kit, is reading at 0.27 ohm. And in case I forgot to mention, did I forget to mention? There's actually one replacement coil available in the kit itself. But I think Kanger is already started selling the coils, the replacement coils, the replacement decks over here. And you can get 3 of this for about under $6. Okay, so it's less than $2 for one coil, and I think that's pretty good because it's very easy to replace this. And all you have to do is take this part out, just unscrew the deck. The deck comes out just like that, and you can pop in the new one. But you don't have to. I mean, the coil can last you pretty while, so all you have to do is just replace the cotton, and they do give you some organic cotton as well. So now I have the voltage tester add-on put on the drip mod. I'm going to pop this in just like that. Okay, and let's test the actual voltage output from the drip mod. So it's reading at 0.24 ohm, and let's hit the button and hopefully you can see. Can you see? Oh no, you can't see. Okay, let's see how much of voltage is actually output from the drip mod. It's about 3.35 volts. Okay, so according to the manual, it's supposed to be 3.7 volts, but I think that is not constant. It really depends on the resistance of your coil. So what you can see here is 3.35. Alright, so here I have my Velocity RDA clone, which comes with extra or spare squonking pin here. Okay, so if you have the drip mod and you're not 100% satisfied with the RDA part, the sub drip of it, you can actually get the Velocity RDA clone, and I will put up a link to this in the description box of this video, so check it out. This costs about $9. Again, it is a clone, and it comes with your regular 510 connection center pin, but you can screw it out, and it comes with a replacement squonking pin like this. So with the Velocity RDA, you get much more options with a proper Velocity style deck over here, so you can do dual coils and you can do almost any kind of build that you want to. Screw it in. Okay, so you can see the squonking pin in the middle, just like that. Let's test it out and see if it works. Right, so you see your e-juice coming out as I press, comes out and saturates the cotton. Only one issue with this is that because the squonking pin is a bit higher than the rest of the deck, so if you push too much of e-juice in here, it doesn't suck back in as it would with the included RDA here, because the base of this is flat. This one, however, if you squonk too much, you will have a lot of e-juice on the deck itself, but no biggie, no big issue. With the RDA, with the Velocity style RDA, you can actually go much further than the included sub drip RDA. You have lots of options for your airflow control, as you can see here, or direct airflow on either side. You can adjust it however you want, and you have your indirect airflow holes as well. You have about 6 of them, so you can just line them up with the holes. And now you can get massive airflow if you want to. So let's test it out. Definitely a much better vaping experience with the Velocity RDA clone. Again, this cost about $9. The authentic was also a squonker. It also had a squonking pin, although the squonking pin was a bit different from the clone. But I mean, for $9 you can get a really good clone. Again, check the description for a link to this particular clone. So there are many Velocity clones out there, but not all of them have a squonking pin. And it's actually by chance that I got the one with the squonking pin, because I got the Velocity RDA clone a long time ago. I looked at the squonking pin and I could not figure out what it was for until I got the Dripbox, and then I started to research a little bit more on squonking, and then I realized, hey, that's what the pin is for. And I tested it out. It works perfectly. So I think this is how I will be using the Dripbox from now on. I mean, the mod is good. The mechanism that you have here for the juice, okay, and 7 mils of juice and how the juice gets pushed up, I think that is pretty clever by Kanger. A very good design compared to a lot of the squonking mods that I've seen out there. And but as for the RDA itself, not really. It's decent, but it's not really the best choice. So if you get the Velocity clone, I think you will have a much better vaping experience. Alright, so there's nothing much more for me to add for this review for the close-up, but I will have a separate tutorial on how to take care of your sub drip RDA. So I will do a tutorial on how to dry burn, how to change the cotton, how to re-wick, and also how to create your own builds here. A very simple build, so you don't really have to spend money on the replacement coils. It's very easy to do, trust me, and actually getting a pack of Japanese organic cotton is so much cheaper than getting the replacement coils. Again, a coil like this would cost less than $2, so you can do it either way. But as I said, that will be a separate tutorial. So let's get back to FaceTime. I'm going to vape on this little thing here, and also the Velocity RDA clone, and talk more about the Dripbox starter kit by Kanger. Alright, we are back from the close-ups, and let me squonk. I love that word, squonk. I have no idea who invented that word, squonk, but I find it really fun. Okay, this is my first experience with the Squonk mod, Squonker, and I think it's really cool. Alright, so let me squonk the juice out. Now we're ready to go, so let's take a vape. For a device this size and for such a low cost device, I think Kanger has hit a home run with the Dripbox. Okay, I like the size of it. I think it's cute. Okay, it's really small and really cute, very easy to bring around, not too heavy, and I like the engineering behind it. So I've done some research now for other Squonk mods, and as I showed you in the close-ups, I think the tube that you see in the Dripbox was really well planned, well thought out. Just pop the bottle out and fill up your e-juice, pop the bottle back in, and you are ready to squonk. Another pro, I think, the bottle here, okay, the plastic bottle here is just right. Okay, so it's not too hard to make it difficult for you to squonk or squeeze it, but not too soft in a way that you may accidentally press it and you have e-juice spilling out. Another pro that I like about it, of course, is the price is really affordable. You have it range from about $45 on gearbest.com. On fastech.com, it's $30. So, shop around and find the best deal available for you. So for $30, I think, it's a no-brainer. Definitely you should get one. Even if you're just curious, you've never used an RDA before, and you're intimidated by RDAs or rebuildable dripping atomizers like I was not too long ago, you could still get one and just test it out. I mean, it works perfectly for what it is. And it's a single 18650 battery, so there may be a pro or con to some people. Again, if it's a dual 18650 battery, the size will be much bigger than this, and then I would need a charger to charge it. I mean, I do have a charger, but let's say you don't have one. So with a single 18650 battery, you can easily charge it with the USB charging port. Now let's move on to the cons. Keeping in mind the price of this thing, it's a starter kit. It's not really a high-end squonking mod or high-end squonking RDA. But most of the issues that I have, other than the paint job, okay, is with the RDA itself. It's not really the best RDA available, and the paint job on the RDA, well, it's just about the same as the paint job for the mod. But the airflow control for the RDA, it's simple, it's easy to use, but it doesn't line up with the coil itself. Okay, so I think they should have designed it in such a way where it actually lines up with the coil, and I think that will improve the airflow a lot. Now, some people may find the lack of a screen as a con. For me, not really. I mean, I know it's limiting without a screen, okay? Without the ability to manually adjust your wattage, it is a bit limiting. But you can make do with this. I mean, if you know how to build your own coils that is suitable for about 3.5 to 3.7 volts, you can use an Ohm's law calculator for that to, understand the resistance of the coil if you want to build your own coils. And if you do it that way, I think it should work perfect. So as I said, the RDA, the sub-drip, that's what Kanger is calling it. It's not really the best. But as I showed you in the close-ups, there are lots of other squonking RDAs like the velocity RDA that I showed you in the close-ups. Okay, so I'm going to fix the velocity RDA into the drip box, and I think it looks cool. Again, this is a clone, as I mentioned in the close-ups, so you can check the description box for a link to this clone. Not all velocity RDA clones have the squonking pin, only this particular model. I don't know who made this, but this particular model does have the squonking pin. So with the velocity RDA in place, you can get any kind of build that you want, okay, and you can really do, for example, Clapton coil builds, twisted wire build like the one that I have in here. And the velocity deck, of course, is much more powerful. Okay, so you have a lot more options to start building your own coils. So let's take a vape with the velocity RDA. Definitely better airflow with the velocity RDA, although it is a clone. But I think in terms of airflow, the sub-drip, it's just very limited. Okay, it's not bad, but it's limited. Definitely you can get better airflow with other RDAs. So the squonking action for the velocity, as I showed you in the close-ups, it works pretty well with the drip box or the drip mod. In fact, I think it's easier to squonk with this velocity clone than it is with the included sub-drip. But since this is a dual coil twisted wire build, and I think the same would happen if you use Clapton build as well, there is a delay, and that, as I said, is one of the cons of having a fixed voltage, 3.7 fixed voltage. For the drip mod, you are stuck to that voltage, and if you do a more complicated build, then you cannot really adjust the wattage, you can't adjust your voltage. So what happens is that there will be a ramp up time. Let's check out the ramp up time. Nothing much. That's all. So you have to press the button a little bit and take some primer puffs. And then you get much larger clouds. But overall, I mean, the Dripbox, I am perfectly happy with it. In fact, I think I'm starting to fall in love with Squonk mods, squonking devices, and I have a lot more on the way. Lots of different RDAs that I have researched that allows you to squonk. And I have a Steam Crave squonker as well on the way. Again, I don't know, shipping time from a lot of these China websites seem to take like 2 weeks to 3 weeks. So hopefully I'll get one. I'll get the stuff that I ordered in the next week or so. And I'm going to create a new video that shows you at least 4 to 5 different squonking RDAs that you can go out and buy today. So do subscribe to my channel GK Vapes on YouTube, or go to gkvapes.com and you can follow the blog post. As soon as I get all the RDAs, I'm going to do a nice comparison video and I'm going to show you how it works. Some of those RDAs are clones, some are authentics, but generally speaking, they all cost under 30 bucks. So if you have the Dripbox and you want to get to the next level with a much better RDA, then do subscribe to my channel and wait for that video, okay? That's all from me, GK from GK Vapes. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you have questions, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below.